What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to Lockdown Universe, home of the bizarre, peculiar, and unheard of stories of UFO legend and paranormal lore. Welcome back, welcome back. Happy to be back. Hopefully you guys are doing excellent and taking care of yourselves. So today we're going to talk about the Miami mall that had apparently a portal open up into it. So yesterday we did a podcast where we didn't have a lot of information. We had some reports stating that there was an 8 to 10 foot tall alien, and there was like zero video out really of anything other than the cop cars. And there was even more than 50 there. Apparently there was like 80. So why the hell would there be such a big presence? Well, now we have witness testimony that stated that there was actually these nerdy-like kids, not gangster kids, like nerdy kids that were all dressed up in all these nice clothes that were there that actually opened up a portal with a briefcase or some sort of like DVD-looking like machine. So let's get into it. So we have a gentleman who goes by Porter Rock, and he stated on a video that he was there for a graffiti convention. And he stated that he went to the mall to go check it out while he was down there. He wasn't from Miami. He went there with a few friends. He was an older guy. He's probably about 50. And he stated that while he was there, he was walking through and he saw these kids that were, it was like about two to four kids who were talking to themselves about this device and where they should turn it on at. And he stated that they were down on the first floor of the mall. He was up on the second floor with about four friends. And he stated that these four friends were just kind of looking down and they were looking to see people walking around. But he saw these two kids and they looked kind of weird, suspicious. They had, what looked like welder's goggles on, which seems really bizarre to have on. But hey, maybe it's your fashion accessory. I don't know. But he stated that he sees these kids, nicely dressed, welder's goggles on. They have this device. They turn it. They say, hey, is this a good place to turn on? They say, yes. They start to turn it on. When they turn it on, it starts to spark in front of them. It starts to spark everywhere, and it starts to light up a big circular, what appears to be portal in the mall. And where this portal starts to open up, it's super bright, according to Porter Rock. He states that it was super bright in the middle. He stated that it started to spark and almost look like when you were looking through it on the sides of the circle, that everybody was like digitized. So people looked digital when people were looking through this portal. Gosh, I wish I had a pen on me. I could draw it for you guys. But basically, there's like, obviously I do some art myself. There was a circle, and then on the sides of the circle, there were, I guess a different dimension. They were opening up, had these, like the rest of it was like sparkler effect, like if you lit a sparkler. Now, what he stated was when this started to happen, it started to accrue more and more energy. And as more and more energy accrued from this weird DVD device, these kids were like, okay, keep going, turn it on, keep it going. We want to open it all the way up. They open it up, and it starts to knock down and hit into these columns. He stated that these kids were behind a column. So there's a column in between the guy who's watching this from the second floor down to the first floor. There's a column in between. This portal starts to knock into this column, starts to knock things down. That's why people started running. So now, all of a sudden, the mall's starting to crack down and break down all around them. Hell yeah, of course they're going to go out running. Now, the other thing is that he stayed and watched because he was like, holy shit, I got to check this out. I'm never going to see this again in my life. I better watch this. So he and his buddies were there. They all went down for the conference, or convention, whatever you want to call it. And as this thing grew and grew, people did start to see this black entity start to come out of it. And he actually drew a picture of it. Basically what it looked like was an arm and kind of like a leg, looking like it was like starting to walk out of the portal. That's what it looked like to me. And he stated that it was 100% black. It was a long arm that was coming out that looked to be, if he is the artist he says he is, and he did have some artwork in the back of him as well. If he was drawing it to scale, this arm was long. I'm talking like 7 feet long, you know, at least 6, 7 feet long, and then a leg that was coming out as well. It looked really bizarre, and people were basically booking it after that point. They were running out, and at that point, I think Porter also decided to take off and leave the area because he just, you know, he didn't want to be part of this whole scenario. But he stated that he saw that, and what was also interesting was that during this time when this portal was opening, he could see these lights flickering. So the mall's lights were flickering. They were turning off. They were shutting off and back on and flickering back on and off like a horror movie. Well, guess what happened? They had a whole bunch of power outages in that area, right? That's what they talked about. And then they said they shut down the air traffic. Well, why do you think that would be? Because if the government or anybody else knew what these guys were up to with this weird-ass DVD-looking like device, they don't know what the extent would be. Would it reach out into the airspace? Would it reach out into, you know, the street level? There was also video camera footage of the police outside, and they state that they show this video. This video has somebody or some entity walking outside of the mall. People, it's like a helicopter shot down straight onto the police vehicles right in front of the mall. So it's kind of like eagle eye view from the sky down. And there's this entity, and it's walking kind of weird and drunk or something like that. If this was people running out of a mall or running away from kids fighting or whatever they think it was, why the hell would this thing just be where this person just kind of slinking around going all slow and there's police right there? It doesn't make sense. The other thing that I found fascinating, kind of congruent with the story that we heard about possibly this being kids shooting off fireworks, was Porter stated that when this portal was opening, that there was like these sparkler-like effects. Well, there was lots of reports about kids shooting off fireworks. Well, these were kids that had this device, according to Porter. He stated that they were kids. They looked like teens or, you know, maybe early 20s, and that they looked like, you know, just kind of nerdy kids, not any, you know, kids that were out there to fight, apparently. But maybe they were there to open up an interdimensional portal. Maybe they were there to, I don't know, man. I have zero idea. A lot of people liken this to like Stranger Things and, you know, opening portals, things like that. But those kids in Stranger Things, they didn't open a portal. It was the government initially, and then 11 kind of came in and opened up another portal. So the whole fireworks scenario kind of makes sense when you talk about, okay, could there have been fireworks in there? Well, the sparkler-like effect from the portal would have given that idea. And if people believed that they were setting off fireworks, maybe they were believing that they were setting off fireworks because it was coming from this box-like device. Maybe they thought it was coming out from there. So that does make a little bit more sense. And the power outages started happening too, right? We know about that. Now, there's basically a media outage on this. I talked about this in the last podcast as well. And where's all the DVD or DVR footage from all of the security cameras? There's like zero. I've seen a couple amateur shots of people running out of a mall. Is it that mall? I have no idea. Is it that mall? Maybe. There's some videos where they show, or they have these arrows pointing and saying, look at there, you can see the portal. I couldn't see anything. So can I confirm or deny this? I wasn't there, but according to Porter, he was there. He seems like a pretty legit guy. He's an older guy, so I'm not really thinking he's doing it for clout or for anything else. So this is kind of like the same lines as the girl who was on the airplane who stated that she thought she saw a shapeshifter. You know, could this be, you know, just more of the same, more of people actually seeing something and they don't know what the hell it was, so they just have to say, hey, I saw it, I'm going to book it out of here, get me off this plane or get me out of these malls or whatever, because people are doing some crazy shit and they're able to tap into other dimensions. Now, if you want to take a jump down the rabbit hole, go on to YouTube and check out man opening a portal in his bedroom. This guy, what he does is apparently he made this device, and this video's been around a long time, but basically he makes a device where he can create a frequency sound, and if you create a certain frequency with whatever this was, it kind of looks like an Alexa Dot type thing, but a little bit bigger, maybe like, one of the big Alexas. But that's what it kind of looks like, and he opens up this portal in his room, and you can see through the portal. It opens up, it starts as a sliver, then it opens up into a circle, and you can see through the circle, and it looks like the southwest of America, kind of like, a deserty area. He stated that he was trying to dial in Sedona, which is a very mystical, magical place. A lot of weird things happen there, paranormal things. Portals open up down to Sedona all the time, and a lot of people seek it out for its paranormal geography. So it makes me think about that, and it makes me wonder if that video was actually legit. A lot of people have weighed in their opinions on that. So did these kids just mimic that same device? Did they mimic that frequency device and maybe alter it a little bit so that instead of just dialing to a different area on Earth, they actually dialed into a different area in a different dimension? Or did they dial into a different area on another planet? And if they did, what do you think would happen? Well, I think the proof is in the pudding. You got 80 police cars. You got people freaking out. You got people saying they saw 8 to 10 foot tall beings. Sounds like Stranger Things. Sounds like these kids. Maybe they're science geniuses. Maybe they're pre-MIT engineer students. Maybe they figured it out. Maybe they wanted to put proof out into a mall and see what people would say and see what would happen, because they didn't want to do it in their house. They didn't want to do it in their backyard. Hey, let's go do it in the middle of the mall where, hey, this is a pretty big place. Or maybe they just wanted to cause destruction on a mass level. Who knows what these guys were thinking? But what we do know is that there's more people coming out now. There's more people telling their side of the story, and hopefully we'll be able to get some more video as this thing unfolds. I'm just trying to bring you the information as I've come to witness it. I know a lot of people are, doing things on different platforms, but this is what I'm interested in. This is what I like, and I think that, it kind of falls along the same lines as like that movie Project Almanac, where they developed a machine, or the kid found in his dad's basement a machine to time travel back in time. It almost makes you wonder if some kid came across his dad's device and he just happened to work for the government, and these two or three or four kids went to the mall and just started opening up this suitcase, and they knew, a couple buttons to hit, and bada bing, bada boom, they're opening up dad's portal, and dad works for DARPA or the CIA or the dark government or whatever the case is, and they're just messing around with technology that's millions of years beyond their capability. Who knows? But hopefully we'll get more and more information as this stuff unfolds. So anyway, guys, I hope you're having a great day, a great night, a great weekend. I'm looking forward to the weekend. I hope you are too. Take care of yourselves physically, spiritually, emotionally. If you have any information, if you were there, put it into the comment section. I've been opening up the comment section. I've been doing polls, so put a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think. And as always, continue to question the universe. Hopefully we get some more info, and I will bring it to you as soon as we can. All right, take care, guys. Lockdown Universe out. Go like, follow, share, subscribe.